the book of Psalm, chapter 131, in the King James Version. A song of degrees of David. Lord, my heart is not haughty, nor mine eyes lofty. Neither do I exercise myself in great matters or in things too high for me. Surely I have behaved and quieted myself, as a child that is weaned of his mother. My soul is even as a weaned child. Let Israel hope in the Lord from henceforth and forever. So there is a lot here. A lot of things that went through my mind. So listen to just verse 2. I mean, this chapter is literally just 3 verses. And again, the verses and the chapters come from because over a period they just decided to what better way of practice for memory and location if not adding chapters and verse numbers to these scripts, these things that were just written out and didn't really have a end, maybe the end of a letter or maybe the end of a scroll, but didn't really have an end. They were just kind of all together. So, but listen to verse 2. Surely I have behaved and quieted myself as a child that is weaned of his mother. My soul is even as a weaned child. So things that immediately went through my mind, bringing past to present, is saying that I'm to a point where I'm able to control my behavior when I need to control my behavior. So this is David. Let's think about this. Are we able to control our behavior? Even today, failed again. Even as of today, was I able to control it in a matter of my behavior, in a matter of going beyond myself and my location? Yes. However, the thoughts and feelings that came up, even those thoughts and feelings are not good. They're of wickedness. They're of sin. And whether it be because someone's not going as fast as I need them to go because I'm going at a certain pace or doing things as I would do them or doing things in a way that would accomplish the same way that I would do things, it's bringing my own terms and conditions to others where that is not the way it is, nor ever will be. It is not I who created. It is not I who deemed. It is not I that have the final say of judgment. It is of the Lord. So surely I have behaved and quieted myself. David is saying, even at this moment, he has behaved and quieted himself. He is holding himself in modesty and just and making sure that he's not behaving irrationally, quick to judgment, following the opposites of the fruits of the Spirit that we've talked about. As a child that is weaned of his mother, my soul is even as a weaned child. So someone that is not necessarily needing baby food or baby steps anymore, but someone who is growing in the Spirit. And so that's what he's telling the Lord. He's telling the Lord, through your lessons, through learning, through growing, through you, I have been able to successfully come into spiritual maturity. Spiritual maturity. How do we get there? How do we know even if we can get there? What do we think spiritual maturity is? Is there spiritual maturity? Is there such a thing? Well, David describes it. Surely I have behaved and quieted myself. He's maintained self-control. He's utilized the Spirit and the fruits thereof to help himself, prevent him from lusting, from greediness, from being conceited and selfish, and making sure that he's thinking of others. And that's why verse 3 comes up. Let Israel hope in the Lord from henceforth and forever, because it's not about him. It's not him holding his own standards. Remember, he was one of the youngest in his family. He was a shepherd who defeated Goliath because he had faith in the Lord, and he heard the arrogance of the Philistines and Goliath in particular, who was mocking Israel and mocking God, the only God. And so he was able to go strive forth in faith, then throughout his life continue on being anointed, understanding that he would be eventually the king of Israel, but also being humbled and humbling himself, and also understanding that Saul was the king at that time, and making sure that he wasn't going beyond and stepping over and stepping on Saul while he was king. Then he becomes king, and because he was thinking of others. You see how even when Saul was in authority, he wasn't thinking, oh, I'm next, I can't wait. He was thinking, what can I do to continually help the people and Saul? He played an instrument to ease Saul, to ease the king in his anger, in his moods, and his issues that he had within himself. He was thinking about Israel and the king when he went to defeat the enemies that they were surrounding them. He even was humbled and was welcoming the idea of even marrying one of Saul's daughter. So thinking about that and thinking about David showing control, even though he had some issues too. He's a human, I'm a human, you're a human, we are human, we have our faults. When we live in the Spirit, when we draw closer to God, when we draw closer to our Savior, we too can develop a spiritual maturity. We too can surely behave and quiet ourselves. Before we go on though, what kind of thoughts or feelings come to your mind when we read over this? How does it make you feel, and what does it make you think?